Good morning, everyone, friends, neighbors, customers. We're thrilled to have you here. Now, keep that smile. Last night was probably, for opening night, the greatest night we've ever had. It was absolutely unbelievable. When you think that we had one rehearsal Wednesday night with everyone, and then last night was just absolutely magnificent. One thing we need your help, all of you, on is we need to get everyone here early. That is really the key, is to have everyone early. We start tonight and Saturday night at 7:30. It would be great if we had everyone in their seats by 6:30. But you've got to remember, and they have to remember, traffic is unreal. And then we have situations where people will come in and drop 2 or 3 off, and the others will take the car and then come back in an hour later and try to find, and they're holding seats. So we need to alert everyone, no, we can't hold seats. We need to get them in and the way we go. But the thing we want to talk about, David Archuleta was out of this world. And Michael York, what a pro. I mean, it was like Saturday night and Thursday night. It was magnificent. To my left, Dr. Mac Wilberg here is a true, kind, brilliant genius. The music was out of this world. But the choir, the orchestra, the bells, the dancers, it was fabulous. So I want to just my job is to introduce these three. So we'll hear from Dr. Wilberg. We'll hear from David and from Michael. Brother Mac.
Well, we're delighted to have our 2 guest artists with us. First time that we've had one of our own as a featured artist, and did such a great job last evening. And then, of course, to have the distinguished actor Michael York with us, and he brings such a wealth of experience to the stage, and we're particularly with the particular story that we're telling this year. He brings a stature to that story that we're so grateful for. So we thank both of them, and we look forward to several more performances.
Go ahead, David.
I've just been so grateful for this opportunity to sing with the choir and be a part of this Christmas special. It's been something I've always enjoyed listening to the choir all the time. I think they're my most listened to thing on iTunes. But it was amazing to see just all the people here last night. It's weird how it's like a dress rehearsal, but it's at the same time it's a full show. But it's just amazing. There's no place like performing here, and it's just really incredible having the choir just right behind you. It's just like wow, is this really happening? But really, it's been wonderful.
Oh, good morning, everyone, if it is still morning. And please forgive these things. As I told President Monson this morning, it's not a Hollywood affectation, just a little eye problem. But yes, I agree. This has been an extraordinary experience. I was the sort of outsider. I've been to Salt Lake City before and had been outside the buildings. And I'd seen the tapes of the shows and, of course, watched it on PBS. But to be actually inside, to belong as part of this extraordinary entertainment. But it's more than entertainment, because there's a great sense of fellowship and of worship, and especially at this time of year. And I can only echo what has been said, that we were very grateful that it sort of magically came together very, very quickly. And I think because David is such endearing presence. I mean,
Thank you.
and I'm just so much looking forward to what lies ahead, to these next 3 days, and I can say thank you for having me. Thank you for having me here.
Now, if you have questions for Dr. Wilberg or for David or for Michael, now would be a good time. Any real hard questions, hold them, and we'll have President Monson answer them. All right.
David, you sort of addressed it earlier that, you know, you grew up listening to the choir and to the Christmas concerts and what your experience was like last night. Talk a little bit more about that. What was it like? What was it like not only with the choir behind you, but with this huge audience in front of you?
Well, yeah, it's, you know, I've been able to, you know, during watching, I guess it's just interesting, you know, being so, just growing up, you know, admiring this building with conference and just knowing that it just seemed so unreal last night. It was one of those moments where it was very hard to actually take it in and realize this is actually happening. It's just bizarre because when you grow up having respect for something, you just don't really feel like, well, you know, those kinds of things, it just seems unrealistic because when you admire something so much and just grow up with it there and watching it doesn't seem like you're going to be there next. But it's kind of like with American Idol in a way, you know, I grew up watching it and just you know, imagine performing there. It seems so amazing, but you don't think it'll actually ever happen. And so this is just another one of those experiences, and I think it's going to be it already is one of the most amazing things I've gone to do, and I know it'll be one of the most memorable moments in my life because it's such a privilege to get to do.
Dr. Wilberg, David, and Michael, if you will. So the bar's been set. That was a dress rehearsal, and it was the greatest show ever, is what I heard. How do you repeat the performance and continue on with the performances left?
Well, as an artist, you're never satisfied.
No.
So there's always things that you think can go better, and that's one of the great things about doing a repeat performance of something. Sometimes you work very, very hard, you have one performance, and then it's all over. And it's a great thing to be able to do these performances several times because, as I said, you always want it to be better.
Well, I can only echo that too. And in fact, you know, we are, you're not aware, but we're aware of little things, little glitches and so on. Only a matter of unfamiliarity that you suddenly find a camera in front of the monitor you're trying to read from. And you think, well, and also, you know, the text has been it's been adapted to suit, you know, I guess the personality of the speaker. And I woke up this morning, I was never happy with the first line, and at 6:30 this morning, it came into my head. So it's going into the show tonight. So, and I imagine this is going to happen, you know, down the line.
Yeah, I just what they said pretty much. It's, you know, there's always like, if only I had done this, or if I only could have done this better, why did I do that? I think there's always, which is always great. I think it's great to be able to always have room for improvement because you always have something like, you always have somewhere, a goal to have, because it's like, it seems like you never reach it ever. But I think that's kind of how it is for everyone in life. It's like there's always somewhere to go, which is great because that's what keeps you moving forward and keeps you working hard.
For David, Michael, and Dr. Wilberg, can you give us a behind-the-scenes glimpse of how this engagement came about?
Well, it's always a bit of a challenge acquiring guest artists. much of it's based on availability, so on and so forth. And we actually had some artists who we thought that we were going to be able to have, and then they were unable to come. And this was about the beginning of the summer time. And so we went to work again. And Michael York, I believe, we engaged about 2 months ago, perhaps. He was, we're just, I have to say that I haven't even told Michael this, but I just happened to see on television a glimpse of Michael York in something, and a light really went off. And 2 days later, I believe that we had made contact and knew of his availability and looked like it might work. And so it's somewhat of a bit of a puzzle in putting it all together year to year.
I want to interrupt just for a minute. How did it all come together? Father in heaven. We've been trying to get David. We had a contract with him when he first won, and there was a situation with his contracts that he didn't know, and he couldn't be with us. And all that's happened is David has gotten better and better and better, and now we have him at his best. It was, and feel the spirit of Michael is just absolutely unbelievable. There's only one person that should be doing what Michael's doing, and
Absolutely.
we have him here.
It was meant to be, absolutely.
You've talked about this wonderful building and the choir, but what does Christmas bring to this? Could you like share your feelings about Christmas and being able to do a Christmas program? All of you, David, Michael.
Well, I think that's what makes this even more special, is the fact that it's not just this amazing event and with the choir and the orchestra and with Mac and Michael. It's the fact that of what we're celebrating and what we get to share with music and with the words and just what we're talking about. I think it's there's no other time of year that people feel this way, because it's so strong. It's such a special a thing we're remembering, such a remarkable thing, and people can't deny it. It's there, and so just being able to sing about Christ's birth and celebrating that and remembering it and his life is so great. And I think it's that's just another thing that's very humbling to think about, is that what we're really celebrating, and just to see what an amazing way we can celebrate it it's really cool.
And for me, this, in a sense, was a sense of continuity, because over the last few years, I was asked to narrate the Bible, do the entire narration, Old, New Testament. And I lived with that. It was over 550 hours of recording. It's called The Word of Promise, and it's an audio Bible with sound effects, and it turned out very well. And then I was asked to, of all things, to narrate Luke in the new, I suppose, Catholic Bible, which is wonderful, because Luke is such a great he's such a great recorder. I think he was a journalist, and he has a great sense. So to get to do Luke on stage was a sort of dream fulfillment. And also, I've just spent the whole year working on an album of prayers. So, one researched them and analyzed them and made a short list. And I'm happy to say that came out last week from Christian Audio. So it's been a whole year spent with these great stories resonating in one's mind. And it just seemed, in a sense, only natural to be here with one of the great Christmas celebrations that the world puts on. And as I said, I feel enormously honored and privileged to be in that position.
For for each of our guest artists, could you tell us how you celebrate Christmas at home?
Oh, well, I guess it just depends on the year. We have a lot of family in this year, and a lot of my mom's side of the family, and it's more of a Latin culture, so we definitely party during this time. It's a lot of, just music and a lot of food and just a real celebration, and it's really fun to get to do. And we also do we actually do a lot of Christmas caroling and things like that, which I think is really great to do. I think it's wonderful to get to share, and I think just being able to share music with your family and to see just people's faces light up and just see their smiles and how much it means to them. A simple visit and a simple song can mean so much to someone. I think it's really great to do.
I'm in the same position. I'm not in a regular place. Being a movie actor, one's performing all over the world. So I've spent Christmases in Morocco, where you go to the bazaar and you buy an orange, and it becomes a token of, it's a wonderful present, and we sing, and in Russia and wherever, France. But this year we're home, so we shall have the Christmas tree and the trimmings, and we shall have friends. I'm still doing my Christmas cards. And I thought there would be time, but of course there isn't. And so I hope to get them done before Christmas Day arrives.
Is there a point of the program where you each feel connected, especially to, maybe there's a personal meaning to you in the part of the program?
Well, if I may answer first, I don't know if you've seen the program, but it does have a certain Welsh orientation in the story. John Parry, the pioneers who came here and were the foundation of the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, which is a great story. I'm half Welsh, so I feel that keenly, that my ancestors should, the courage to cross the ocean, to bring the word, the message, and the discipline and so on into this, what must have been an extraordinary place, terrifying place to be, semi-desert and not yet settled. So that touches me enormously, that great sense of faith, where with children dying, going so far, being driven by this inspiration, this message, this divine promise. So I think that is one reason why I wanted to be here, because it is such an extraordinary story, and one so well worth telling.
If I could address what Mr. Christensen started off with, last night's overwhelming response. There were several hundred people that weren't allowed to come in because there were so many people that wanted to get in. Obviously showing up early is essential, but does that kind of response, the fact that there were so many people that there just wasn't room for everyone, and there were hundreds of people outside, does that surprise you all? Does that surprise you? Does it touch you in some way that the response has already been so overwhelming?
Not with David Archuleta on the bill.
No, I think it is surprising, 'cause sometimes you don't feel like, I don't know. It's like, I think the choir always receives an amazing response every year. I mean, even last year they received over 1 million requests. So it's just every year. It's just it's a very special event that people love to come to. There's so much to take in with the choir and the performers and the orchestra. And I was, when I came in, when Sissel performed in 2006, it was one of the best performances I've ever been to. And that's why it's so even more amazing to get to be here, just because, I don't know, it's,
Yeah.
but.
I was very moved to learn too that as we were going out live to a lot of other performance centers in the Tabernacle, in the theater. That I didn't know, and that is extraordinary.
One of the great elements of this presentation that we do every year is that it is filmed for PBS television, and I think sometimes that those of us here locally, forget that this goes out. Really, it's not only a gift to the community here, but it's also a gift to the nation. And of course, our PBS showing is always a year later, but last year's show, which is being shown right now, which of course featured Natalie Cole, we've had more airings of that, national airings of that at really prime times this year than we've ever had before, which is, I think, in some ways, we're honored by that. And so while our local audience, of course, we're overwhelmed by the enthusiasm of that, we're grateful that we're able to tape this every year and that it does go out to so many later on.
We might, excuse me, we might just think of another thought too. Just to walk in, I walked in Tuesday night, and the stage was set and the lights were unbelievable. But to have this building that seats 21,000, but to have this stage is just absolutely. There's 3 men back in the back that have worked on this so diligently, but it's out of this world. And then it's free, and like it's mentioned, it go PBS. 95 to 99% of every PBS station in the United States plays this. This is the Christmas concert for not only we here, but for everyone, and it's free. And I heard this morning David McCullough called, and he had watched, and his heart it's just unbelievable how many different people it touches. And one last thought, having David here at this time and having all of these young people come in and feel the spirit and the good, it just couldn't be better. There are so many positives, it just doesn't stop. We want to thank all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We have time for 1 or 2 more questions.
Is there a possibility in the future of extending the performances, maybe another day or 2?
Well, we have thought about that. It is a challenge. Remembering that everybody on this stage in the orchestra and the choir are all volunteers. And we have explored the possibility, but it's very difficult.
We could run just about for a month. That's really a bad thought.
Even a question specific for our viewers on Fox. I know you're slated to perform on New Year's Eve Bash on Fox. Any thoughts on that leading into the performance? I know you're concentrating right now on this performance, but when your boss asks you to ask something, you can't say no.
Okay.
So what are your thoughts leading up to the New Year's Eve Bash for Fox?
I'm really looking forward to it. It should be fun, celebrating the new year. It'll be different with being away from the family this time, but I'm still hoping to celebrate New Year's Day with family because, like I said before, the holidays are about spending time with family, so I hope that a lot of families will be able to enjoy watching together on Fox. So, you're welcome.
Thank you. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, we thank all of you for being here. We
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you very much.
The
Appreciate
great support.
Indeed.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.